Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Nawaitu at-ta'alluma wa at-ta'lima wa at-tadhakkura wa at-tadhkira wa an-naf'a wal intifa' wal ifadah wal istifada wal hath 'ala at-tamassuki bi kitabillahi wa sunnati rasulih sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa ad-du'a ila al-huda wa ad-dalala 'ala al-khair ibtigha' qurbihi wa thawabihi wa wajhihi subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma arzuqna ya rabbi fahman nabiyyin wa hifdhal mursalin wa ilhamal malaikatil muqarrabin fi 'afiyatin ya rabbal alamin. Qala Syekh al-Mu'allif adamallahu naf'a bihi wa bikum fid darain amin radhiyallahu ankum. Baik. We've done revision last week. Revision for last week's lesson and also of preparation for today's lesson. Anyone did? Anyone did revision or preparation? Najib? This is really amazing. Not even one. MashaAllah. What? You were not here last week. 5. The lesson for the previous week. You did revision. It's very important to learn to do revision and preparation. Otherwise, how do you go to class? Allahu a'lam. Oh, this is very sad actually. It's very important to do revision and also preparation for our classes. If you're a student, you need to do revision, you need to do preparation. If you're a teacher, you need to do revision, you need to do preparation. This is amanah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, nobody scold us if we don't do revision or preparation. Nobody scold us. But this is amanah from Allah. One of the way you preserve this ni'mah from Allah is by taking good care of this ni'mah. Revision or preparation doesn't take much time. Maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes is more than enough. For those who can listen to the classes again, that is also considered as revision. We have put up, the brothers have put effort to put it up on YouTube or whatever it is. That is also a form of revision. If you listen back to the class again and again, twice, thrice. But preparation is also very important. Right? Inshallah, next week everyone comes with revision or preparation. Habib Umar bin Abdullah al-Shatri, Habib Abdullah bin Umar al-Shatri, Habib Salim al-Shatri father. You know Habib Salim al-Shatri? The Habib, the big Habib, comes on the wheelchair, comes to Singapore. His father used to tell his students that you are not allowed to attend my class unless you have done 25 times revision. You have read what you're going to learn for today for 25 times. Then only you come to attend my class. The same goes to us when we were studying. We will sit together with our brothers to try to understand the text that we are going to study the next day. We spend 2-3 hours to do that, when our class takes only less than 1 hour. We take 2-3 hours to sit down together and to discuss what are we going to study next day. We will read the text, we will try to understand so that when we come to the lesson, we have prepared ourselves. So when the teacher comes and teach us, we have understood a lot of things, and we might understand something wrongly, and the teacher will correct our understanding. We also do revision for what we have learned, which means if we would study one topic, that topic would be read or not read, understood 7 or 8 times. That is excluding examination. Excluding what is for examination. When examination comes, that's another story. And that is how you preserve knowledge, and how you start to understand knowledge from one topic is connected to another topic. In fact, it's always like that. Knowledge from one topic will be connected to another topic. So inshallah, next week we will have two brothers and 2 sisters. To do a little bit explanation on what we have studied. On the first note, but make sure you count. It's very important, very, very important. To explain what is Iddah right now, what we have to explain us next week. We will pick 2 brothers and 2 sisters, or maybe 1 brother, 1 sister, we will see. The most important, understand what is Iddah and how does Iddah functions. When the Iddah begins, when the Iddah ends, for pregnant women, for non-pregnant women. What is the kind of Iddah for men? Is there such thing as Iddah for men or not? If there's such thing as Iddah for men, what are the kind of Iddah for men? Basically everything about Iddah, whatever you have learned about Iddah. For those who has written notes, good, because there's a lot of explanation done with what is not is written in these notes. For those who did not write anything, and listen back to the recording. We want to hear about Iddah, especially ladies. You have to know about yourselves, and for men as well, they have to know about their wives' Iddah. Otherwise, how they know when can they do rujuk or when they cannot do rujuk? Or how do you want to deal with your daughters when they get married and they face problems? Now we can see the equal need of both men and women knowing about Iddah. When Iddah got on in a surface view, it applies only for ladies. But now we can see the need of men and women to understand about Iddah. So we will get at least 1 from the gentlemen and 1 from the ladies to explain about Iddah. Write it and put it in the group so that all of them do revision about Iddah. Simple, Iddah is really simple. Rabbil firli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. We have a lot of questions. Allahumma rabbi la ushriku bihi ahada. We will take some of the questions. A Muslim couple. The husband leaves the wife without lafaz of the talaq for 4 months, without any nafaqah. He left the wife out of infidelity, which means irtad, murtad, to the other woman. What does to the other woman means? Have another affair, and then he went out of Islam, like that. He has a wife from He gives the wife to another woman. Yeah, which means he has another girlfriend. Infidelity, which means he went out of Islam. Oh, which means tak loyal to the other woman. Upon 4 months, the Sharia issues, which means the Sharia court probably here, issues that the divorce is valid without the consent of the husband as he failed to turn up. Right? And the wife completes her iddah. Right? After which, in the 5th month, he wants to rujuk back to the wife. 5th month after the iddah has completed, or 5th month from the time he left the wife. He wants to rujuk back to the wife. Is the marriage valid or the new nikah has to take place? Number 1 here, the husband leaves the wife without lafaz of talaq for 4 months. If there's ta'liq has done, and if there is no divorce and then rujuk, because nowadays when the nikah happens, the husband will read the ta'liq. If he has read the ta'liq and that if he doesn't give nafaqah for 4 months, talaq raj'i will be given by the Sharia court if it's proven true. And true enough, it's proven true that he didn't give nafaqah to the wife for 4 months. Tamam. So the Sharia court gives him, gives her a talaq raj'i, which means there's a 3 cycle of her period, menstrual period, which means in her iddah, he can do rujuk. This 5th month, I don't understand which 5th month. If she has completed her iddah for 3 menstrual cycles, regardless of the number of months, some ladies, most ladies, they will get menstruation every month. Some ladies might be once a year. Allahu a'lam. The most important thing is that she has to complete her 3 menstrual cycles, regardless of the number of months. If she has menstruation, if she doesn't have menstruation, then it becomes 3 months. If the talaq, if he wants to do rujuk in the iddah, then he does rujuk in the iddah, and she becomes his wife again. Well, if he left the wife out of infidelity to another woman, talking about this topic, about whether he's going for another woman or what. Number 1, loyalty in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is how much you preserve the religion of Allah. That is loyalty. It doesn't mean a husband marry 1 wife and then he has a 2nd wife. When he marries a 2nd wife, it doesn't mean that he is not loyal to the 1st wife. He is not loyal to the 1st wife when he has, an example, an affair, girlfriend or something. He goes out with her. That is then he is not loyal. Why he is not loyal to his wife? Because he is not loyal to Allah. But if he has a 2nd wife, if he doesn't do funny things, he gets married, 2nd wife, 3rd wife, he is loyal to Allah. That is the reality of loyalty. Loyalty is how much you are loyal to Allah and how you preserve the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is the marriage valid or new nikah has to take place? If the rujuk is being done during the iddah, then he doesn't have to do nikah. If he wants to go back to the wife after the iddah has completed, then he has to do new aqd nikah. And when he wants new aqd nikah, he needs the consent of the divorced wife. If she doesn't give her consent to the guy, then he cannot marry her. It's different from rujuk. He doesn't need her consent at all. But when Iddah has completed, he needs her consent. However, if the husband rujuk back to the wife during the period of Iddah, after Sharia confirms the divorce, is the marriage is valid upon the agreement of the wife? This is what we have explained. Right, let's go to another question. Can the marriage happen for the both of prospective bride and groom in the state of ihram? As we have mentioned, the bride cannot be in the state of ihram, neither the groom cannot be in the state of ihram. Also, can the prospective bride and groom goes through a nikah in Tanah Suci, which means in Al-Haramain, in Makkah or Medina, upon completion of Hajj and Umrah, if she and him has completed their ihram? And there's two levels of ihram. If you study in Bab al-Hajj, that's the first ihram, the second ihram. If you have completed the two states of ihram, you can even get married in Mecca. And this is being practiced also by the Indonesians. When they have completed their ihram, which is still going on until today. And this is the correct one. This is not the wrong one. I think we have mentioned earlier about the wrong practices which is being done by much of the Indonesians. But the correct one is that when they have completed their ihram, they have completed all their obligations of Hajj, then they will do nikah. And this is allowed, even though if it's going to be in the Haram Makkah or Haram Medina, or sometimes in Arafah or whatever it is. Anyway, Arafah, people only go to Arafah one day. Not even one day, sometimes only half a day. While in Mina, are you allowed to do nikah in Mina? If you have completed your Hajj, then you are still in Mina. You have completed all the rajm, the throwing stones. You have done your tawaf, and then you have done halaq al-taqsir, and you have cut a small portion of your hair, or you have shaved the whole hair. When you have completed these three, and also tawaf, ifadah, when you have completed these practices, then you are allowed to get married. Also, can the prospective bride, finally, can the prospective bride or groom goes through a nikah with the niyyah of Hajj or Umrah prior to the state of ihram? That happens in Medina. Is it permissible? Otherwise, if it happens in Mecca prior to the state of ihram, is that permissible as well? As we have mentioned, it doesn't matter whether it's in Mecca or Medina. The most important is that he has not gone into the state of ihram, even though he has put on the ihram clothes. As long as he has not done the intention, an example, nawaitul hajj wal umrata wa ahramtu bihima lillahi ta'ala, or he will say nawaitul hajj wa ahramtu bihi lillahi ta'ala. As long he has not done the intention of ihram, he is still not in the state of ihram. Once he has done the intention of ihram, he goes into the state of ihram. That is when you start to go in the state of ihram, when you start to do your intention. If it's from Medina, they will do from Bir Ali, or if it's from Mecca, they will do sometimes, if it's from Jeddah, then maybe sometimes when we are on the flight. If it's from any other part of the country, then before they go through Jeddah, they will do the niyyah of ihram. And at the same time, we would like to advise, normally Hajj, there's not much problem, but for Umrah, there's a lot of wrong understanding on the way to do ihram. And sadly, even many of those people who are known as guide or official, or what they call it, pegawai, they themselves don't know the correct way to do ihram. Normally, if you go in a group, it's not a problem. But the problem comes when you do it yourself. So before you do Hajj or Umrah, go and seek knowledge from an alim about how to do Hajj or how to do Umrah. What are the things you're not supposed to do in Hajj? What are the things you're not supposed to do in Umrah? And the best is to bring with you the book which has been authored by Sheikh Umar bin Abdullah Al-Khatib with you throughout Umrah and Hajj, which has been compiled and edited by Ustaz Saleh. Bring the book with you. And because why? You tend to face problems or challenges along the way, and you might not find anyone to help you to go out of the problem. And the book, mashallah, the explanation of what you should do when you fall into certain kind of situation, when you fall into certain kind of situation, you have no knowing. So if it's possible for you to go learn from an alim, if it's also possible, it is better if you can read everything from the book before even going to Umrah or Hajj. So we have to be very careful in that matter. Rabbi ighfirli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. The rest of the questions, inshallah, we will take next time. Rabbi ighfirli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Baik. Tamam. We have gone into which chapter now? Number 5, We have completed number 5. If the closest guardian is in a continuous state of unsound mind, if the occurrence of his unsound mind is infrequent, for instance, a day in a year, then we are to wait for him to regain consciousness. If the occurrence is sporadic, then at the time when he has recovered, he has the right to conduct the marriage contract. However, at the time when he becomes insane, his guardianship will be transferred to the next guardian in order. Now, there are 3 situations for those people who are known as Majnun, when they are in a state of insanity. The first situation is that when he is in a continuous state of insanity, then the guardianship for the marriage will be given to the ruler. Number 2, if it happens once in a year, rarely, or maybe once every 6 months, then what you have to do, if the marriage contract is to be done, suddenly he becomes insane, then we should wait for him to regain consciousness, and then he will be the one to carry out the An-Nikah. He is still the guardian for the prospective bride. And now, if his insanity comes once in a while, unexpected, maybe once a week, maybe once a month, sometimes twice a month, sometimes thrice a month. So we should carry on the marriage contract, and the guardianship will be given to the next in the hierarchical level. In the next hierarchical level. Maybe his own son, which means the prospective bride's brother, or brother from the same father but different mother, and so on, as how we have learned before. So in this situation, for insane people, we have 3 situations. 1, Junun Mutbik, which means continuous insanity. Number 2, rarely. It happens very, very rarely, once a year, once every 6 months. Number 3, if it happens unexpectedly, once in a while. And we have all the situations explained. Is it clear so far? Right. Number 6, if the guardian is suffering from unsound judgment. Khabar is read with ba as an sukun, or with an accusative case, fatha. That is sukun fatha, which means khabar, which carries the meaning of an impaired mind. Khabar could be due to congenital disorder, or congenital disorder. What's the Arabic terms used there? Is that Arabic book there? Or other causes that has inflicted the person after his birth. It's congenital. Forget. Maybe in nowadays situation, maybe we can say like an example for children who have autism. Are they considered as insane? They are not insane, but they definitely can fall in this category. They could not distinguish between kafa'ah. They might not be able to look and understand things properly, but they are not insane. Huh? Wait, and number 6. طيب السادس إذا كان الطالب ذا خبر فالخبر بإسكان الباء وفتحها هو فساد في العقل كان أصليا أم عارضا. أيوة. That's all. تمام. Which carries the meaning of impaired mind. Khabar could be due to a congenital disorder or other causes that has inflicted the person after his birth. Now understood. Sometimes the impaired mind could be due, he can get the impaired mind even before birth. Sometimes he can get after birth. So regardless of whatever situation, as long as he falls in the category of khabar, his guardianship will be given to the ruler. It will not be given to the next person in the hierarchical level of guardianship for the marriage. We are still in the discussion of the transfer of the guardianship for the marriage to the ruler. Number 7, if the closest guardian is mute and not able to make comprehensible indications or writings which can be understood. If he is able to make such indications or writings that can be understood, then his guardianship is not transferred. However, he should delegate it to someone else through indication or writing. A person who is not able to speak, it's mute. If he's akhras or abkam, if his words could not be understood, or if or his what they call it, indications. Sometimes they call it the language of the mute, sign language. Sometimes he has sign language, and sign language can be translated into words. If he doesn't, if he's not able to use any sign language, then he is the guardianship of the marriage will be given to the ruler. But if he is able to communicate with sign language, then he is to commission another person to carry out the marriage contract. Now we explain again. A person who falls under akhras or abkam, he's mute. He will fall under one of the two situations. The first situation is that when he is able to give sign language. If he is able to give sign language, then the guardianship of the marriage will be given to another person. He will commission another person to do the marriage contract. He is not allowed to do the marriage contract. But when he is not able to do any of the sign language, then the guardianship of the zawaj, of the marriage contract, will be given to the ruler of all his representatives. Tamam. Number 8, if the closest guardian has an impact among mental faculties, which is also known as ma'tu. Ma'tu is explained by the one who wrote the poem An-Nikah and the poem before. With the word du'ata, these are just ways they try to explain in Arabic. Supposedly the Nazim mentions du safa, a replacement from the phrase du'ata. It will definitely carry the meaning of as-safih mahjur alayh, someone who is foolish and cannot be entrusted to spend his own wealth. Okay? Whereby he cannot be the guardian for the prospective bride. But the guardianship will be transferred to the next guardian in line, down the hierarchy. It is sufficient with the word al-ata, which is similarly defined as the word al-junun or al-birsam. These are all terms being used by the scholars. طيب. Number 1, if he's safih, al-mahjur alayh. تمام. نقص في العمل والرضا إليه عشر النار والأولى تصور المحجور عليه لا يلي نكاح موليته بل تنتقل للأبعد أي ويغني عن العتب. تمام. A person who has a sickness, these are all names of the kind of sicknesses which is being used by our scholars in Arabic, ma'tu. Another kind of sickness in his mind, he's unable to think properly. The first one is khabar. He is not able to distinguish between what is kafa'ah. Another one is du'ata. He has another inability in his mind to think properly. So the guardianship will be given to the ruler. Also falls under this category those who are safih, those who are foolish in managing their wealth. If they are not able to manage their wealth, and the ruler have done al-hajr alayh, which means has barred him from dealing with his own wealth or other people's wealth, then he is not allowed to marry, or he is not allowed to be the guardian for marriage. If he is du'ata, if he has a kind of sickness in his mind, then the guardianship will be given to the ruler. But if he falls under the category of safih, a person who is foolish, he is normal, he's a normal person, but he's foolish, he doesn't know how to manage his wealth properly. And the government has barred him from managing his wealth or other people's wealth, then the guardianship will be given to the next person in the hierarchy. So there's two situations in this category. Number 1, if he has sickness in his mind, he will be given to the ruler. Number 2, if he's safih, if he's foolish, and he has been barred by the government from dealing with his wealth or other people's wealth, then the guardianship will be given to the next person in the hierarchy. Clear? There are two situations in this category. Tamam. Rabbi ighfirli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. Right. A bankrupt, he is also mahjur alayh. He is also being barred from dealing with his wealth or other people's wealth. Al-muflis. Tamam. Bankrupt means al-muflis. But he is not being barred from being the guardianship for marriage contract. That is why they put that as safi, because mahjur alayh, those who are being barred from dealing with wealth, there are many categories. And safi is only one of those people who are being barred from managing his wealth. Sometimes people can be barred from managing their wealth due to age, because the child has not reached puberty yet. It's not allowed for the child to deal with his own wealth. Sometimes can be due to bankruptcy. A person who has been declared bankrupt, he is not allowed to deal with his wealth, which means every single cent of his wealth is being dealt by the government. Sometimes people can be known as foolish, for those people who are being barred from dealing with their wealth. They waste their wealth. As how we have mentioned, an example, he is a millionaire, or even if he's a billionaire, and then he take $1,000 and maybe $10 notes, and he goes to the middle of the sea and he say, I'm rich, an example. And then he throws the money into the sea. And then you're a millionaire? Like, please forgive me, you are being barred from managing with your wealth. Why? It's my money. Yes. The religion has come to protect your wealth. The religion has come to protect your religion. The religion has come to protect your intellect. The religion has come to protect your dignity. The religion has come to protect nasab. Ish nasab in English here. Which nasab in English? Lineage. And the religion also has come to protect, what else? There are 6 things. Some scholars say 5, some scholars say 6. That's why I get mixed up sometimes. Now, and all the rulings of the religion or laws from religion comes to protect these 5 or 6 things. They call it kulliyatul sit or kulliyatul khams. The 5 things or the 6 things. Number 1, the religion comes to protect your religion. Islam has come to protect your religion. That is why there is haddul riddah, punishment for those who leave their religion, Islam. Or there is such thing as jihad, going to war. Because why? The religion has come to protect your religion. Number 2, the religion has come to protect your wealth. And that this is one of the situations where the ruler will deal with you. And he will bar you from wasting your wealth, from you being able to manage your wealth. Or hadd al-sadaqah, the punishment for theft. Or the punishment for qutta' al-turuk, those who, what's qutta' al-turuk in English? Those who prevent others along the way, along the streets or something. Robbers, street robbers. That is the punishment for those who, there are punishments for those who basically take people's wealth without valid reason, basically oppressively. They take people's wealth not the right way. Number 1, to protect your religion. Number 2, to protect your wealth. Number 3, to protect your dignity. That is when hadd al-ghadab comes. Hadd al-ghadab is punishment for those people who throw blames to a woman who did not do any adultery. When you need 4 witnesses to witness the act of adultery, if there is no 4 witnesses from men, not women, from men, then there is no such thing as hadd al-ghadab. There is no such thing as hadd al-zina upon the lady. But the hadd al-ghadab will be done upon the man. Just an example, like during the time of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. When 3 of Sahaba, when there was 4 Sahabi, they tried, Allahu A'lam, Sahabi or Tabi'in, please forgive me in this matter. I don't know exactly who are they. But one of them is a Sahaba. They blame one of the Sahaba has done zina. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, when he heard this, He said, "Oh Allah, this thing has never happened during the time of Rasulullah. Neither during the time of Umar. Neither during the time of Abu Bakr. Please don't make it happen at my time." Tamam. Which means we don't say that zina didn't happen. Zina might happen, but it is not being brought up to the ruler. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, when he heard such thing, said, "Oh Allah, has not this hadd al-zina, this punishment for zina, has not been done during the time of Rasulullah, and has not done during the time of Abu Bakr. Please don't make it happen at my time." There are punishment for zina being done at the time of Rasulullah, but it is by recognition, by the person's recognition, own recognition. A lady, there are two ladies, if I'm not wrong, came to Rasulullah at different times. They came to Rasulullah and they said, "Ya Rasulullah, I've done zina. No, not two ladies, one lady and one man. I've done zina. Rasulullah SAW try as much as possible to let them take back their words, as long there is no 4 witnesses. So there was 4 persons. They said that one of them said that we have 4 witnesses. Tamam. To say that this person, this Sahabi has done zina. Sayyidina Umar said, "You saw it?" And then they said, "Yes, we saw it." And then Sayyidina Umar asked, "Did you see it like how the meal fil mikhal?" Which means, if you know kuhal, eyeliner, you know the sunnah eyeliner. He said, "Did you see just like the eyeliner's, what I call it, stick goes into the eyeliner's housing?" And he said, "Yes, Umar." He said, "Bring to me 4 witnesses." One of them said yes, another one said yes, another one said yes, they saw, and then the 4th one, he said, "I'm not so sure." Sayyidina Umar said, "What? Go." Sayyidina Umar told the 4th one, "Go you." And the 3 of you, hadd al-kadhf. فَجْلِدُوهُمْ ثَمَانِينَ جَلْدًا. He get 80 whipping from Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu anhu. Every one of them, 80 whips. 80 whips. Because why? This is hadd al-kadhf. Don't throw blame of adultery to someone when you don't have 4 men witnesses with you. 4 male witnesses, not 2 male, 2 female. 4 male witnesses. When you don't have 4 male witnesses, you shouldn't say to a person that you have done zina. Even though you see with your own eyes that person has done zina. You see it by your own self. "No, I see it with my own eyes." If once you tell him that you have done zina, the person, even though he has done zina, he can just go to the leader, he can just go to the ruler, and he say, "Oh ruler, he has blamed me for doing zina." Even though if it was true, he has blamed me of doing zina, give him hadd al-kadhf. That is why Islam always tells us to take care of our tongue. We shouldn't mention about anyone that he had zina with someone or she had zina with someone. Type, what if I fall in a situation of zina? Is it better for me to recognize, or is it better for me to keep it secret? Since we have gone into the discussion, so let's complete the discussion. The best thing is for you to keep secret of the kind of sins that you have done, as how we have mentioned in a few classes ago. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done sitr upon you, so you should cover yourself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has covered you, so now you should cover yourself. Right? But why did the 2 Sahaba recognize to Rasulullah SAW? Is that even allowed? Yes, it's allowed for you to recognize. But you go and recognize not to any simple people, and you go and recognize yourself to a ruler which can carry out the hadd al-zina. If you want, the best is to keep it secret. We will mention why. So it is allowed for you to go to the ruler to tell him that I've done zina and this is my pregnancy for this child or whatever it is. Give me the punishment. this lady Sahaba, she recognized in the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam because she wants to be totally cleaned from that sin. Because why? She wanted Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to pray upon her after she has been prosecuted. Because whosoever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has done prayers upon him, which means for him, Rasulullah did salatul janazah upon him, his sins will definitely be forgiven, 100%. That is why she wanted to recognize the sins in the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he knows anyone has any debt with any person, he will not pray upon that janazah. Because why? If he does dua upon a janazah, his sins and responsibility all will be forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He will make sure that his debt will be, his debt has been cleared, or his debt has been guaranteed to be cleared by someone. Then only Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would pray upon that janazah. So she wanted her sins to be cleansed by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is why she came to Rasulullah and she recognized that she has done zina, and she showed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam her pregnancy. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told her, bring one of your family members. And then she brought one of her family members, either her brother, if I'm not wrong, it was her brother. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, be nice to her, be kind to her. Let her deliver a child. Let her give the child milk for 2 years. After she has completed breastfeeding the child, and then bringing her back to me. Look at how kind was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He didn't want to prosecute her immediately. Yani Rasulullah, think about the life of the child. The child is what? The child didn't do any kind of sins. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has destined the child to be alive, and the child didn't do anything wrong. Rasulullah told her to deliver her child, breastfeed her for 2 years, and then after 2 years, then only she was brought back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then when she came back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam kind of tried to signal her to take back her words. But she did not want to take back her words, and she insisted that she has done the zina and the pregnancy was from zina. Then only Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the Sahaba to prosecute her. Tamam. This is the punishment for zina due to recognition, which means she recognized herself. Tamam. There was no prosecution of zina being done by witnesses during the time of Rasulullah. Neither the time of Abu Bakr, neither the time of Umar, not even a single one until today. Until today, there has been no prosecution of zina which is done by 4 witnesses. Until today. That is why if we look back at the Sharia, sometimes we look at the ruling of Sharia is harsh. Very harsh prosecution because of zina. But we look back at the number of people being prosecuted because of zina. Rightfully, we are not mentioning like those people who's carrying out the prosecution of zina due to their understanding or due to their bad thoughts of other people. Rightfully, we will find that there has not been anyone being prosecuted because of zina, rightfully. So now, when I bring you with a kind of solution, it looks harsh, but that thing will not be carried out to anyone. At the same time, it helps improve the situation tremendously. Now, do you call this ruling of this law as effective law or not so effective law? This is very effective. At the same time, Islam is a religion of mercy. You will not find anyone being prosecuted by the ruler because of zina due to witnesses. So Islam promotes life. Islam does not promote death. Islam does not promote prostitution. Tamam. Rabbil firli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. So this is the most effective law. Situation improved. The punishment is not being carried out. At the same time, people live peacefully. Tamam. The same goes to hadd al-sariqah, the punishment for theft. What is the punishment for theft? For your hand to be removed, for your hand to be cut. Right. It's harsh, yes, it's harsh. But look at the number of people being prosecuted because of theft. Very, very few. And if you implement this law, will people stop from stealing? Yes, people will stop from stealing. The thieves all will stop, because why? They are threatened to be, their hands to be cut off if they continue stealing. So they will stop stealing? Yes, they will stop stealing. Is the punishment being carried out? Very, very rarely. So, what kind of law do we call it? Is it effective? It's very effective. Is it full of mercy? It's mercy for everyone. For the thief, he will stop stealing, and it's also mercy for other people, that they don't have to worry that there will be thieves anymore. That is why a person who really understands and learns the Sharia, they will start to understand that the implementation of the religion, of the Sharia law, is the best law can be implemented on the face of earth. Number one, the punishment will not be carried out as much as what people think. Number two, the crime will stop. All kind of crimes will stop. It will be reduced so much if people implement the Sharia law. Now, why does many Islamic countries, they don't want to implement the Sharia law? They call themselves Muslims. The politicians call themselves Muslims, or whatever it is. Why they don't want to implement the Sharia law, knowing that the Sharia law is the law which is very effective and very good? Why? Because of money? No. Because if they would implement Sharia law, then the law, they will be the first group of people will be prosecuted by the Sharia law, because they are the most corrupted people. They steal big government's wealth, name all kind of criminal. They are the kind of people which do all kind of crimes. That is why they don't want the Sharia law to be implemented. It is not in their advantage. Tamam. Rabbil firli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us and protect us from zina, and protect us from theft and all kind of sins. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. If the closest guardian lacks the mental capacity, there are many kind of mental capacity discussed in Sharia, which can be asked, which can be distinguished by the scholars. Number 10. If the closest guardian is unintelligent and is unable to distinguish between the different kufu. Also, Nazim's usage of the word dam al-abkam is for the completion of the poem, because the word of abkam carries the same meaning as al-akhras, which has been previously explained. Now, number 10, if the person doesn't know how to distinguish between kufu, like he might have a normal state of mind, but he doesn't know how to distinguish between kufu. He thinks everyone is the same. Yes, everyone is the same except for taqwa. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has honored certain kind of people to be amongst the descendants of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and from Quraysh, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made some other people not amongst the Quraysh. And there are hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Quraysh is superior to the non-Quraysh in a because of leadership. Any Amir al-Mu'minin at any kind of time on the face of earth should be from the Quraysh. That is one of the reasons why the Ansar didn't get the leadership after the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because it needs to be from Quraysh. And Abu Bakr was from Quraysh, Umar was from Quraysh, Uthman was from Quraysh, Ali was from Quraysh, and Sayyidina Hassan was also from Quraysh. And then has completed the 30 years time of leadership, which has been recognized by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the time of justice. The first 30 years. First it was done by Abu Bakr, and then Umar, and then Uthman, and then Ali. When Sayyidina Ali passed away, it was 29 years, 6 months. And there was fight between Muawiyah and Sayyidina Hassan on who is supposed to be the leader. And Sayyidina Hassan, he knows that he doesn't want to be a leader, but he wants to get the honor from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be amongst the just leaders. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned that just leaders will only last for 30 years after me. So he made an agreement with Muawiyah. Look, let's make an agreement. I become the leader for the first 6 months. After the 6 months, you take the leadership. It was agreed by Muawiyah, and he became the leader for 6 months. After 6 months, he said, now I don't want to become a leader anymore. Why? Because there's no more justice after 30 years. It has been said by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So you take the leadership. I don't want to be amongst the unjust leaders. That is why sometimes people think, why the ulama is not doing anything? Why they are not ruling the countries when they can rule, when they are so influential? People can be convinced by them, this and that, because they don't want to be amongst the unjust leaders. Simple as that. And Rasulullah ﷺ has mentioned after the 30 years, it will be mulkun adud. It will be kingdom. After the kingdom, Rasulullah ﷺ said, there will be a dhalama, oppressive leaders. After oppressive leaders, Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned will be khawana, traitors. Now is the time traitors now. They are the politicians. They seem to be nice, comforting, mashallah. Behind your back, they take all your money. They do everything behind your back to gain power, to gain benefit from you. In front of you, they seem to be nice, mashallah. They sit down with you, drink their tarik with you. We are here to serve you, mashallah. Tamam. We are here to serve you, and then your salary is hundreds of thousands. What is this? And you say you want to serve people, you give those difficult people this money. This is khawana, traitors. These are traitors. After traitors, and then they will come. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-khilafah ala manhaj an-nubuwah." A khilafah according to the way of the Prophet. At that time, then only you want to be in the group amongst the Khalifah. Because why? Khalas. You know that you are in the right way if you are amongst the Khalifah. This is not my words, this is not alim, this is Rasulullah's words. Then only you want to be amongst the leaders. At the same time, the ulama, they are always scared to take leadership because of responsibilities in akhirah, something which is not easy. You are responsible for everyone else. You are responsible for this person, this fulan, that fulan, everyone else in akhirah who will go to Jannah easily except for the leaders. They will be stopped. And every single one from their community is able to come to him and ask from him for their rights. Is that easy? Everyone wants to go to Jannah easily, but you are being chained and stopped, and you are being requested from everyone to give back their rights. That is not easy. So now, those who are not able to distinguish between kufur, because he doesn't have the knowledge of kafa'ah, then he is not able to be the guardianship. But now, if he is the guardian, for the prospective bride. He doesn't know how to do kafa. But he immediately learns how to distinguish between a person whether he is kufu to her or she is kufu to him. Can he continue to be the guardian? Yes, he can, if he listens to the knowledge. But if he's stubborn, if he doesn't want to follow the kafa'ah, then his guardianship will be taken and will be given to the ruler. Rabbi ighfirli wa tub alayya innaka antat tawwabur rahim. In these 10 situations, all these situations will lead to the transferring of guardianship to the person who is next in order within the hierarchy. What hierarchy? Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi. Hierarchy or to the ruler? إذا كان يكون الله وقدر بذكر وكلها تكون الولاية للأبعاد. تمام. The guardianship will be given to the next in the hierarchy level, not to the ruler. Now, after these situations where the guardianship will be given to the ruler. If the guardianship is suffering from unsound judgment, tired. Sorry, from the beginning I always mentioned will be given to the ruler, will be given to the next person in the hierarchical level. Tamam. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik alayhi. Now these are the situations that will be given to the ruler. Tamam. So I was wrong. 10 matters. Lower on within the order of lawful guardianship within the hierarchy. Will be given to the next person in the hierarchical level. If the closest guardian is a disbeliever, if the closest guardian is a corrupt, if the closest guardian is still young or prepubescent, if the closest guardian is a slave, if the closest guardian is in a continuous state of unsound mind. Fine. Please forgive me, all these 10 situations is next to the hierarchical level, not to the ruler, even for the unsound mind. And this is when we're going to discuss about those people who the leadership will be given to the ruler. The guardianship will be given to the ruler. There are 20 situations. Now, all these situations, all what I have said that will be given to the ruler, it was a mistake. Because all the while I thought that these situations will be given to the ruler. So my revision was not correct. Please forgive me very much. Now these are the 20 situations that when the guardianship will be given to the ruler.